Hello, and welcome to our channel, Shakespeare's Plays and Summaries, where we go over the works of William Shakespeare. Be sure to subscribe and check out our library of videos. Alright, let's jump right in. If you think your family has drama, just imagine your own brother treating you like an ox in a stall, all to keep you from your inheritance. In the world of As You Like It, life is a constant battle. And let me tell you, this is way more than just a simple rom-com. We're talking survival, wild identity swaps, and the sheer guts it takes to choose love over power. So everything in this story really boils down to the clash between these two places. On one side, you've got the rigid, dangerous walls of the royal court, and on the other, the untamed, almost magical world of the Forest of Arden. You are not going to believe how a single wrestling match and a change of clothes can turn an entire kingdom completely upside down. So let's start inside those cold stone walls. You see, when we first meet our hero, Orlando, he's at his absolute breaking point. And it's all thanks to his own brother. His eldest brother, Oliver, isn't just ignoring him, he's actively trying to ruin him. By denying him an education and his rightful inheritance, Oliver is basically trying to erase him from the family picture. I mean, he's treating him no better than a common farm animal. So you can imagine, this complete and utter humiliation is what pushes Orlando to do something, well, pretty drastic. He's desperate to prove he's worth something, so he decides to enter this high-stakes wrestling match. This is his one shot, his only shot, to break free. Now, this isn't just some local tournament, oh no. The match is being held at the court of Duke Frederick, a guy who stole the throne from his own brother, Duke Sr. So yeah, you could say the stakes are pretty high. So let's meet the key players at court. You've got Duke Frederick, the usurper running the show. His brother, the rightful Duke Sr., has been banished. And then you have their daughters, Celia and Rosalind, right at the center of all this drama. Now Orlando, he wins the match. But in doing so, he wins something far more dangerous than any title. That's right, he catches the eye and the heart of Rosalind, the daughter of the banished Duke. The connection between them is immediate, it's electric. But you've got to remember where they are. This court is not a safe place. It's all shadows and suspicion and paranoia. A terrible place to fall in love. And just like that, the paranoia hits. Duke Frederick sees that spark between Orlando and his niece, and he suddenly turns on Rosalind. He literally banishes her. His decree? Get out or die. But here's the twist. Rosalind is not going alone. Her cousin Celia, the Duke's own daughter, refuses to leave her side. Celia declares that they are one soul. In this incredible moment of loyalty, she stands up to her own father. And right then and there, together, they hatch a plan. Okay, so here's the plan. Step 1, flee the court. Step 2, find Rosalind's father, the banished Duke Sr., out in the Forest of Arden. And step 3, the most important part, they need to adopt disguises. Because they're smart. They know traveling as two noble women is a terrible idea. And Rosalind's choice? It's a big one. She decides to transform herself completely into a young man named Ganymede. And Celia, the actual princess, she becomes a simple, humble shepherdess named Elena. But remember, they aren't the only ones running for their lives. Back at the estate, Orlando's world is about to get a whole lot more dangerous. So Orlando's back home, but he's about to discover something absolutely horrifying. His brother's nasty resentment has turned into a full-blown murderous plot. I mean, get this, Oliver is literally planning to burn his own brother alive while he sleeps. It's just unreal. So Orlando has no choice. He has to run. He's got this faithful old servant, Adam, who helps him get out. And he too escapes into the wilderness. He's carrying almost nothing, just his father's spirit and a heart that's completely devoted to a woman he's pretty sure he's never going to see again. So here's where it all comes together. Everybody, the disguised Duke's daughter, the loyal princess, and the fugitive son, is now heading for the exact same place, the legendary Forest of Arden. And as they all converge on this one spot, the rules of society are about to completely dissolve. And what happens next? Well, that's where the forest proves that famous line, that all the world's a stage. And trust me, Rosalind, disguised as Ganymede, is about to give the performance of a lifetime. Which leaves us with this huge question, right? What exactly is this Forest of Arden? And who are these people going to become once they're finally inside it? So in Shakespeare's As You Like It, when we talk about the Forest of Arden, you've got to understand it's way more than just, a bunch of trees. It's this escape, this real sanctuary. It's a place where all that stiff, formal court life, what Shakespeare calls the woeful pageants, just melts away. It's all replaced by the raw honesty of nature. And this is where the banished Duke Senior and his crew are living, kind of like a Robin Hood and his merry men. And they're not just surviving out there, they're thriving. The Duke finds this incredible wisdom everywhere, seeing tongues and trees and reading books in the running brooks. Pretty poetic, right? But, this peaceful idyllic vibe? It's about to get a major shakeup, all thanks to a very, very lovesick Orlando. I mean, this guy is completely head over heels for Rosalind. He's carving her name on every tree he can find, and hanging these awful but also kind of sweet poems from the branches. The whole forest is basically turning into one giant sappy love letter. And guess who just happens to stumble across this? Well, this shrine to Rosalind. None other than Rosalind herself. But, and this is key, she's still in her brilliant disguise as the young man Ganymede. Okay, so she sees these poems, and right away she recognizes the handwriting and, let's be honest, the over-the-top sentiment. It doesn't take a genius to put two and two together. Orlando is here. He's somewhere in this forest. Now, she could just run up and say, "It's me, right?" But no, Rosalind is way too smart for that. She sees this incredible opportunity. Why not use her disguise to test him, to find out if this love is the real deal? So, as Ganymede, she walks right up to Orlando and makes this wild offer. "I can cure you of this crazy lovesickness." And the cure she comes up with? Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. And hilarious. The plan is simple. Orlando has to pretend that Ganymede, the boy standing in front of him, is actually his beloved Rosalind. And he has to practice wooing him every single day. I mean, what a perfect way to see if he's really serious or just full of hot air. And this, right here, is where you really see Shakespeare's genius just explode on the stage. Just think about the layers for a second. You, the audience, are watching a woman who is playing a man who is pretending to be a woman, all to test if a man's love for her is real. It's just an absolute masterclass in identity, performance, and theater itself. Okay, but Orlando and Rosalind's little game? That's just one piece of the puzzle. The whole forest is turning into this incredibly tangled web of romance. You've even got the super cynical court jester, Touchstone, getting in on the action. He's somehow fallen for a local country wench named Audrey. It just goes to show you, in this forest, nobody is safe from love. Not even the guy who makes fun of it for a living. Then you've got this other situation. There's a local shepherd, Silvius, who is just desperately, hopelessly in love with the shepherdess Phoebe. And Phoebe? She is having absolutely none of it. Not interested at all. That is, until she lays eyes on, you guessed it, Ganymede. And BM. Just like that, in a classic Shakespearean move, Phoebe falls head over heels for Rosalind in her disguise. So let's get this straight, because it gets complicated. You have Silvius, who loves Phoebe. Phoebe now loves Ganymede, but Ganymede is actually Rosalind, who is really in love with Orlando, who is pretending to woo Ganymede as Rosalind. It's a glorious, ridiculous, tangled-up mess. Okay, so just when you think this romantic chaos can't get any crazier, something much darker from their past shows up in the forest. It's Orlando's cruel older brother, Oliver, and he's not here for a friendly visit. He's been sent by the evil Duke with one single brutal mission. Find Orlando and kill him. But this forest, it seems to have a magic of its own, because when Oliver gets attacked by a hungry lioness, who do you think saves him? It's Orlando, the very same brother he came here to murder. Orlando risks his own life to save him. And seeing this incredible selfless act, it just completely breaks Oliver. All that hatred and villainy just vanishes. In a single moment, he's flooded with regret and repents for everything he's done. And then, as if that weren't enough of a miracle, this brand new, reformed Oliver meets a shepherdess named Aliani. And what happens? He falls instantly in love. Of course, he has no idea he's actually just fallen for Princess Celia, Rosalind's cousin, in her own disguise. So now Rosalind is looking around. Her cousin is suddenly engaged. An old enemy has been redeemed. And she's at the center of this four-way romantic knot. She realizes, okay, the game is up. It's time to fix this. It's time to drop the mask. So the stage is set for this huge grand finale where all is revealed, but the big question is, when all the disguises finally come off, is everyone gonna get what or who they really want? Alright, so let's set the scene. We're in the Forest of Arden, and you can just feel the tension in the air. It's thick with anticipation. You've got all these couples, right? They're all lined up, and it feels like this is the day that's going to change everything for them. But there's a problem. Actually, there are a few pretty big problems. And somehow, it all comes down to one person who seems to hold all the keys. And who is that one person? Well, it's Rosalind, of course. But here's the thing. She's still brilliantly disguised as the boy Ganymede. And she's been running around making these wild promises to everyone. They sound totally impossible, almost like magic. So you're left sitting there thinking, how on earth is one boy supposed to deliver on all of these completely contradictory vows? It just doesn't seem possible. So yeah, Ganymede's promises? They sound like some kind of unsolvable riddle, don't they? But here's the genius of it all. For someone with Rosalind's incredible wit, this isn't magic at all. It's a masterful, tactical move. It's this amazing piece of theater, where the very thing that's fake, her disguise, her artifice, is exactly what she's going to use to bring everyone to their most honest, true reality. I mean, how cool is that? Okay, so let's break down this grand bargain that Ganymede has cooked up. First, for Orlando, he promises that Orlando will marry his true love, Rosalind. Got it? Then for Phoebe, you know, the one who's totally fallen for Ganymede? The promise is that Esichi will marry Ganymede. And finally, for Duke Sr., the promise is that he'll get his daughter Rosalind back. You see the giant problem here, right? I mean, Phoebe can't marry Ganymede if Ganymede is actually Rosalind who's about to marry Orlando. It's this tangled mess that seems absolutely impossible to sort out. And then the moment of truth arrives, and it arrives with some serious theatrical flair. I'm talking about the entrance of Hymen, the actual god of marriage. You know, just casually showing up. This sets the stage for what is, no joke, one of the most satisfying reveals in all of Shakespeare. And then, poof, in this stunning moment of pure theater, the boy Ganymede is just gone. He vanishes into thin air. Everyone on stage is left completely baffled, totally speechless. I mean, where could he possibly have gone? The entire resolution of the play hangs right there, in that moment of stunned silence and disbelief. And then, in his place, Rosalind emerges. As herself, in her true form. You can just imagine the shockwaves ripping through the entire forest. The person they thought was a boy? The friend? The love interest? Suddenly everyone's entire world is turned completely upside down in a single instant. And just like that, like dominoes falling, everything clicks into place. Orlando is finally reunited with his Rosalind. Duke Sr. gets to joyfully embrace his long-lost daughter, and Phoebe, well, after realizing she was in love with a woman in disguise, she gracefully accepts the shepherd, Silvius, who has been devoted to her this whole time. Problem solved. So this one single reveal, this unmasking, it paves the way for, get this, not one, not two, but 4 weddings. All in one day. Even the fool Touchstone and his country love Audrey get to jump in on what he calls the loving voyage. It's just a complete, totally joyous resolution for absolutely everyone involved. The whole scene just becomes this huge celebration of true delights. It's such a powerful reminder that in this magical world of Arden, even the most tangled, complicated knots, you know, the ones we thought were impossible, can be beautifully, perfectly untied. But hold on. Just when you think all the miracles are done for the day, another one shows up. Orlando's other brother, Jocks the Voice, suddenly appears out of nowhere, and he's bringing some absolutely astonishing news from the world outside the forest. So he tells them that the evil Duke Frederick, you know, the one who was literally marching into the forest to destroy his own brother, well, he had this random encounter with a religious man. And get this, the meeting caused a complete 180. A total spiritual conversion. The guy who was ready for war just abandoned his crown, gave up all the conflict, and decided to live a quiet life of contemplation instead. I mean, talk about a twist no one saw coming. It's a true testament to the transformative power of this forest. And the consequences of this news, oh, they are huge, immense. The exile is officially over. Duke Sr. gets his dukedom back. The entire political world, which was just a total mess at the start of the play, has been put right again. It's that perfect ending where both love and justice win the day. So the music starts to play, The newlyweds are dancing, and the final farewells begin. But not everyone is leaving. The melancholy Lord Jacques, who's always been more of an observer, he decides to stay behind. He's hoping to find some of that same life-changing wisdom in the forest that completely transformed Duke Frederick. But for everybody else, it's time to go. The great journey back to the court is about to begin. They're leaving this wild, magical, transformative space and heading back to their restored lives, back to their responsibilities in the so-called civilized world. And just when you think the curtain's about to fall, there's one last wonderful twist. The play isn't quite over yet. Rosalind herself steps forward and does something amazing. She breaks the fourth wall. She speaks directly to us, the audience. And she says, good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogues. And with a final curtsy, she gives us this charming invitation to, well, to like as much of the play as we want. It's this beautiful, final reminder that in the grand game of life and love, the best outcome is one that is, ultimately, as you like it. So the play wraps up everything for its characters, right? It restores both love and order in a perfect happily ever after. And as we leave the magical Forest of Arden behind, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does your own version of happily ever after really look like? Another masterpiece finished. Get your own copy of As You Like It at our bookstore, linked in the bio.